Okay, this video was originally supposed to be scripted. I didn't think I needed to script the video because it's just this. And then suddenly, I did the practice thing where I just rant on and what I'm going to say in the video in the shower. And it took me 30 minutes to do the entire thing. So I'm like, nope, I'm just going to talk about I'm just going to talk about the books I've already practiced talking about. Get out of here, flies. So annoying. Anyway, this is just going to be one book. Originally, it was supposed to be me, the history of books, but I couldn't get the script out. And in the practice runs, I could only get one book in before I had like 30 minutes already in the video. And going past 30 minutes, when you've only talked about two topics, not really good for the algorithm. So I'm just going to talk about my two most favorite books, probably ever. So yeah. The books are, it's just, one is the original and the other one's a sequel to the original. The books are Warcross and the sequel to Warcross, Wildcard. You're taking in the perspective of female protagonist who I think's 18. I'm pretty sure she's 18. 18, 17, 16-ish. She is in a world where you have glasses that essentially act as VR headsets, and you can do whatever heck you want on them. Now there is a small plot to this, but I'm just going to just skip over like the huge like plot lines, like the things that could possibly spoil the thing, and just give like a short-ish summary of each of the books. But you should definitely go read each of the books. I'll leave a link down in the description to a audiobook from Audible, hashtag not sponsored, so you can listen to the books yourself. I would definitely recommend reading them, and then you can come back to this video. If you don't want to read them, dang it, fly. If you don't want to read them, it's fine, but there might be some spoilers here. So this is your opportunity to click off, leave, come back after you've probably had like 30 something hours of reading in to those books, and then we come back to this video to hear my opinions on it. So yeah, this is the intro bit, and yeah. Sorry, I have in the month of September I have a intro, and I am not doing it because this is an August upload for the next day because I am really behind on my schedule. So yeah, so the original book of Warcross starts us off with us getting a short backstory of the character Amika, but I forgot what her nickname is. I'm blanking on it. I don't know what it is. I'll try and think of it during this video. But Amika, she goes, and her job is a part-time bounty hunter, which, if you know what bounty hunting is, then you know that it can vary in how much money you can get. This time it's $5,000, as if she can catch the villain. And she has a lot of bills to pay off because her dad is a gambling addict. Well, was, because he's no longer alive. And yeah, there's a lot of things that she has to work towards. But her full-time job is just being a waitress at a local shop. This is all taking place in New York, but we'll soon move over to Tokyo, as we'll see later on. So she catches the bad guy, but apparently because she was too slow to react to the bad guy being there, she did not get the money, and now will be evicted in like 2 or 3 days. So problematic for her, but kind of unfair. I think she should have at least got like at least $1,000 just specifically because she was the one to catch the bad guy, but I digress. She goes back to her room, where there is swears in this, but I'm not gonna say any of the swears because I want to keep this video monetized when it eventually allows me to get money. So good. One of the things that she is it's a small apartment with a roommate, and her roommate doesn't have a job, but you know, neither of them have been successful in getting money. So yeah. Anyway, Amika. Still banging on the nickname. Anyway. I'm blanking on what to say. There's something called Warcross, which is, think of it like if you know Pokemon Unite, think of that, but it's people fighting in a virtual reality setting, with where you wear glasses to see on them, because that's the whole technology. It's called the Neuralink. It's only in glasses until like chapter 11, 12, something else like that around there, when she goes to meet her the creator of the game. But I digress because I'm going way too ahead. But she goes into this thing and realizes that if she can steal one of the power-ups in the game, she'd be able to pay off her rent and be able to survive. And she can, and because she's a hacker, specifically hacking to catch the villains that she has to catch in New York for the bounty hunts, not surprising that she was able to even get this in the first place. One thing that she did not expect was for when she did get the power-up, for everyone to see her, when the viewers watching on the lenses would not typically be able to see any audience members, because you could literally just go, because that would cause disturbance, and if you're standing in front of someone who's watching the game, you wouldn't be able to see anything, and if you attempted to get down, and you couldn't really watch from the air, it's a detailed sense, so it's VR. They can do anything. It also does not look like a video game, it looks real life. Even that's one of the big problems about this entire thing. Anyway, she suddenly is sawn by what will eventually be her team captain. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to get copyrighted by some weird reason, even though I'm complimenting the entire book. But I digress. So once she does this, she's kicked from the lobby, and the power-up in her inventory is removed. Not sure what happens in the opening ceremony, which that was. Well, assume that they restarted the entire thing, and after that, she gets on the phone calls and phone messages asking her to call a specific number, but she doesn't know this because she's afraid it's the cops wanting to chase her down. It doesn't stop all night. She wakes up, gets ready, and then realizes the thing's still ringing. She reads the messages, immediately calls at the number that the messages told her to message, and she gets it on a direct line to Henker Games, the place making Warcraft, and also the place making all the Neuralink. And then she's suddenly on a call with Hideo Tanaka, the CEO of the entire corporation of Neuralink and Warcross, and he has a job offer for her, but that waits until she's actually in Tokyo. And yeah, if you want to read the book for more explanations, then read the book. I'm just gonna give like the basic details. Like, if I was making a movie out of just what I said, like, this would be like the main details of the movie, if this was what I was to say to be in a movie. But I digress. Yeah, she gets in a private car. Everyone, and she's acting like she's one of the. And if you know how celebrities get into secret security cards, yeah, think of that. But it's a girl with rainbow hair leaving an apartment complex that's probably under like $1 million in revenue for everyone living in there. Like, that's ridiculous. Anyway, during that call, she her and her roommates' debts, they are no longer. Hideo Tanaka, being extremely rich, just wipes them out completely. Like, there's no debt. Even if she did cancel the idea of going to Tokyo, she might still not have the debt anymore. Hideo's not going to be like, yes, I wasted almost $10,000 when I'm a multi-billionaire. I need to take back this money, and she has to pay for it herself, which will probably be homeless, even though I really need the sealed person. I don't really think that he would want to do that, especially because I just said he's a multi-billionaire, I'm assuming, based off of how successful he is in the story. Anyway, she gets to Tokyo, takes the day of break to, get ready for the next big day. She goes to the Hunger Games Corporation on the next day, meets Hideo Tanaka, and then is suddenly gone with the job offer. Because she's a bounty hunter, and from research from Hideo, he knows this and will instantly attempt to get her to do something that not many people would try and do. Hire a hacker. Now, he's hired hackers before, but Amika doesn't think that she's skilled enough to do that. Okay, now I know what her name was. It was Emmy. The nickname. I'm still gonna call her Amika because that's what her name is, and I'm afraid I'm gonna forget the nickname and I'm having a 5-minute pause. So anyway, once all that is taken care of, we are introduced to the character, well, at least the embodiment of the character, Zero. Zero is someone sabotaging some of the maps from Warcross, and Hideo is kind of worried that this could possibly ruin the whole game. And when they find something buggy, Amika almost instantly realizes what's buggy, even though the team doesn't find what it's the problem for like 2 weeks. And you would know if you read the story, but I don't got time to explain how she knows computer programming. She's a hacker. That's all you gotta know for this. Now, she accepts the offer, gets some beta lenses, which are basically contact lenses that will leave a single atom of something onto your eyelids, and will allow you to use your own small electrical currents in your body to charge it, which will come into play at pretty much the end of this book, why this specific thing is there. So, yeah. Anyways, there's a lot of things going on. She has to go to a big important... she's a wild card, meaning that she will be picked for a team, because Hideo thinks that Zero, or someone connecting to Zero, is inside the group. Turns out it's actually one of her teammates, but I will not be specifying who, because I want you guys to also enjoy the book if you're just not paying attention and want to read the book later on. Anyways, after that big party, but during that event, she realizes that there's a shady figure up on the top. With some more digging around, she realizes that person is actually a wild card just like her. The only person missing from that was one of her teammates. So, of course it's one of her teammates, because otherwise she'd have no chance to get any significant data. And also, she has plot armor. Anyways, there we go. I think I got the flag. At least one of them, several in here. Anyways, big party. She finds out that this is what she found out that her teammates is suddenly, well, possibly the figure. Didn't get that one. I think I got that one though. Dang it! Oh, this sauce is so annoying. I'm gonna annoy them as much as I can. Yeah, then she practices, and then gets some more data, practices, gets more data, on and on cycle until the first match. With the finished fights against the Beaming Brigade, her team wins, she gets some more data from her teammate, from the wildcard teammate, And yeah, with some more digging around to talk with Hideo to get more information, and after the match, she realizes that the teammate that she has had a message saying, "I can't kill Hideo Tanaka, someone else has to," which will meet the character who tried to kill her in the second book, but Amika was able to warn him, and the only person who was injured was one of the many bodyguards in the dark room. Anyways, after that, the second in command tries to tell Amika to convince Hideo to get out of town, and yeah. Then, sex scene, but I'm not allowed to talk about any of that. What that is, because I want this video to not get demonetized immediately. Once again, same story. Well, that is made out, at least. That's what we know from the story. It's not for the faint of heart, guys. This book is not for the faint of heart. I definitely was surprised when I heard this for the first time, because I listened to the audiobook and not read it. Yeah. So, suddenly, you are met with another problem that she has to face, and that's actually going into what is the Dark World. And the Dark World is, think of the Dark Web, but it's VR. Yeah, there's also something that will come into play later, which is basically the Hitler lottery, something, Hitman lottery, where you spend notes, which is the currency in the game, to get people to kill other people. This will come into play later, but other than that, you just bet notes on teams in the what they call the parents. Then she goes there, she sees her teammate and Zero in person, and doesn't realize that no one but her and the other people that are teamed up with Zero can see her. And she's not part of Zero's team. She moves over, and Zero definitely notices this and will come into play later. Now, a little thing down the line, here's a little bit of a song that her teammate will make, that she'll hear from one of her teammates. And you got yourself a disaster. After a lot of conflicts, and after she eventually gets killed in one of the games, but she has time to respawn, her team just barely winning and getting angry at her, suddenly, with the tap of the finger, Zero can put up a ginormous picture of Amika and Hideo making out. Yeah. And that was because Mika, in that match before, she eventually died to drowning. But this is technically not true, because that was just because the body that she was in was temporarily be controlled, because her mind and control of her body, this VR thing, was in the Dark World. Zero was able to control the one that people could see in she just died straight out. Suddenly, then goes to the house, everyone's complaining. Amika goes up, meet Zero, who is a hologram, who meets her in VR, says, basically, if you don't stop doing this, I'm going to blow up your entire place. Amika doesn't believe him. Boom, the entire place explodes. Amika and the teammate that is on the side of Zero, they are resigned from they are taken out of the tournament by Hideo. And yeah. Then just chaos happens in the Dark World, where Amika and the two teammates, and actually the three teammates that are actually on her side, they suddenly just being there, like, okay, we're gonna sneakily get 3 hacked power-ups to defeat a hacker organization. So yeah, even though she's out of the tournament, she's still gonna do the glitch that allows her to get into the game, then she's gonna take over the mechs, She's gonna take over one of the wild cards, and then she's just gonna use the hacked power-ups, or the ones that are not supposed to be in the game, against the team. Eventually end up winning because Zero popped up at some point. Everyone gets a static shock, and during that time, everyone in the stadium could see Zero in his in the armor that he wears, and then then everyone, who this is? Minutes later, Hideo goes to Mika, and suddenly he reveals that everyone in the world that does not have beta lenses, that has the non-beta lenses, but not the glass, but also don't have the glasses, are now under his control, and if they've ever committed a crime, they will never commit a crime ever again. And the ones who have committed mass crimes, like homicides or too much with guns, he doesn't know this, but they'll eventually commit suicide. So not the greatest, but definitely better than some of the Disney villains we've seen in the past few years. And yeah, the game mixes up again, and then after a little bit of conflict with the team, Mika gets a message from Zero asking her if she would like to join Zero. Skip to the next book, everyone's still trying to plan, because they only have until the semifinals to get this entire thing situated. If they don't, pretty much everyone is just gonna be under their control, and they can't do nothing more to stop him. And yeah, she hasn't declined the offer of Zero at this point, but she wishes that she would. Suddenly, Zero popped up into a message, and then after a while of going back and forth, she gets Mika receives a picture of the Hitman lottery, and then suddenly see that her name is absolutely at the top, probably because people put on the tinfoil hats and thought Mika-chan must have been the only person that could get into the game originally, and then got into the game a second time, and then ruined our chances of winning of millions of notes at the semi-final, at the finals. And now they all want to kill her, and this has happened like minutes later. But this extraordinary hitman, or should I say hit woman, that almost killed Hideo, suddenly saves her because she's on the team of Zero. And then after a while of getting away from them, Mika is left with two options: leave the room that they're hiding in and get shot by the two people, or join them. She does not decide quick enough. The person on the Jax, the hit woman, that's teaming with Zero, shoots you with like a drug thing. Not sure how that works, but Mika's now drugged. Too much actually. We'll see this later. And is then knocked it out for like a day and a half. So then everyone that is on her team is now worried about her, especially because, well, Hideo was the only person she could contact. She was still drugged at this point, and now Hideo was also worrying about her, and now we got an issue. Now, in the last book, there was revealed that Zero was the long-lost brother of Hideo that was kidnapped, and the only reason why he's doing this entire thing is to find his brother's kidnappers, and then maybe forcibly kill them like he'll do later in the book. Yeah. That is bad, but everyone that is on Zero's team has the beta lenses, so they're perfectly fine. But Zero is technically always fine. Zero can't be affected by it because he's a hologram. But I'll keep on referring to Sasuke Tanaka, Hideo Tanaka's brother, as Zero, because I don't want to have to say two names when I could just say one. That is also technically correct. Anyways, they give her a job offer, which basically says, you're forced to join us, or we'll just give you, or you try and go out to your friends, and realize that every single person in Tokyo will be trying to kill you, because the person that we have is one of the best hitmen, or hit woman, that ever, and they're not gonna mess with them if one of the best is protecting this one person. Might work out for them. Maybe it will, but no one can tell right now. Anyways, she kind of has to accept, and then the goal of her was to get a long chat with Hideo to try and open him up, and get the algorithm, and try and get the algorithm more, and get a connection to them by the time that the rematch of the semifinals will have already happened at this point. But the closing ceremony, will already be happening. So you have to get it by the closing ceremony, get a link with Hideo, take the algorithm while the opportunity is available, and then give it to Zero. But suddenly, everything just goes chaos when she just tries to get more information to give to Hideo. She reveals that Hideo's brother is still alive, and then she tries to get more information by going to the place that one of her fellow hunters that was hired by Hideo from the last book helps her get the last bit of information, get more information to get more on Sasuke. And suddenly, she goes there and sees that same person being shot in the head because he was trying to be sneaky and failed somehow. Then suddenly Jax, after a few minutes of trying not to faint, Jax sees her, gets her away, and she tells her not, and she tells Mika, do not go and visit the dude that I almost killed, but won't kill, but probably haven't killed at this point, because I'm going to not attack him anymore. And invites her to the Dark World to get more information from the Dark Web. Yeah. More later. Now, after tragically just going back to the room, and everything is going bad, she goes to the Dark World. She goes to the Dark World, goes to a blinding place to prevent cops from going in there and finding out these hidden locations, because one person already revealed everything to all the policemen, so they're on the run for all these people. So you don't want to do many of these things boldly. So they're being extra cautious, including putting the pirate's den up in the sky. I'm not seeing the pirate's den because I'm not in the Dark World. Anyways, more information gotten, leaving the session. The next day, Mika will meet with Hideo, give her all the rest of information, and now she's at a current half and half. She's also in the closing ceremony match, which will also just be the same roster for the finals match, or the opening ceremony next year. Now she's left with the options of probably just losing the thing, but that doesn't really matter. If she loses the match, all she needs is to get either Zero defeated or the algorithm. She has to pick between letting the people have the free will, or completely losing everything. And yeah, so suddenly everything just stops, and Zero and what is now known who can be confirmed, the boss of the organization of Black Coats, which Mika joined earlier, who we've known since the very beginning of the book, pretty much. Taylor, she pulls a gun and shoots, and probably will shoot Amika if Hideo does not comply to the results. However, her daughter, or adopted daughter, Jax, threatens her with her greatest fear. You wanna guess what that is? I'll give you 30 seconds to guess what her greatest fear is. It's death. Putting a gun at her head is enough to convince her, don't shoot the girl. But Hideo opened up the algorithm anyway, because they believe that with the algorithm, can get rid of Taylor, then Sasuke will be freed from Zero. Oh no! He now snapped someone out of existence. Like, he just told the algorithm, because that was the only opportunity to stop it. He just said, hey algorithm, turn off this person's brain immediately. Like, it's like the least painful way to die. But suddenly, Zero takes the algorithm with a little seconds left, so that the only option to stop Zero, who now is just going to control the entire world. He's just going to use the algorithm to control the entire world, but Mika, still having that blue cube that he gave him, uses it, but she sort of fails. The cubes doesn't completely take the algorithm, but it at least protects everyone that she's ever had a link with from being taken over, including Jax and Hideo, as well as her teammates. This will allow Jax to be controlled by Zero, but then just pretending to do it, and then save them, because she's linked with Mika before. Anyway, there was a metal suit when the other dude got shot in the back of the head by Jax, and it's now, and since the dude is a little hologram, he's just going probably just above it, and is now able to be in a physical form. Yeah. The dude is basically a cyborg with extra steps. Now, they go through chasing and goes to this and get to the safe room, which is the only place that may just be the only safe place in the entire world. They realize that they need to go into Zero's mind to stop him, and since the inside of Zero's mind is literally just Warcross, because his entire existence is around the internet, they can get there using the unique different things that the Warcross characters have. And I don't have enough things to memorize all the different roles. But Mika's one is the architect, which is basically the Minecraft builder. Go brr. So yeah, using all the strategies and getting up to the very middle tallest tower, they realize that if Zero touches you, the algorithm, now corrupted, will now take over your entire mind. You do not want to have anything in Zero's mind other than that touches you by them interacting with you, like them touching you specifically. Let them touch you. Everyone but Amika and Hideo fall for it, because the reason Hideo doesn't get touched at all is because Hideo gets touched, literally everything of Zero will just be erased. Amika realizes that she still has the file, moves for defeating Zero, who, in the form of the files that she pulled up for Hideo on that very last day that they had. She uses them. Sasuke's mind returns to Zero, but of course his voice will stay the same, and because after they get out of this, yeah. So end of the story is Hideo gets arrested because he was tampering with the human mind, but Jax pretty much just gets out of this because she was also one of the children who was almost killed because of a disease that probably would have just ended their life regardless. So she's probably just allowed to leave because even though she pleaded guilty, she did reveal everything about the Black Coats, but did not say that Amika was at any point part of them. Then Amika gets a job offer from the brand new CEO of Henka Games to be the new CEO of Henka Games. After Zero convinces her to do that, she is finally out of the woods. She will never be below the poverty line. She will be famous. The next day, she goes to try and hire Hideo, specifically because he's the only one who knows more about the Neuralink than anyone else. With his help, the Neuralink, since it was shut down completely, will finally be able to do that. And since literally everyone in the competition does not speak English, but she's been reading the translation lines, yeah, everyone on her team has to use Google Translate or something else to understand them. Once Neuralink is set up, Warcross will probably just be better. Anyways, the book ends with Hideo accepting the offer, and I forgot what the very end of it was. But it was probably just maybe the Neuralink will come back. Okay, so things I liked was this is the only book I've ever liked that has a key female character as the main role. I would honestly like to read again. The other ones are just like Anne Frank. I haven't wanted to read again because it sounds kind of boring. Like, if first time read, pretty good. Would not want to read a second time though. But I would like to listen to this one again, or get the physical copies and read them. And some other things, I would really like to see a movie of both of the books. Like what I have on here was just a basic script. Additionally, just adding dialogue. I'd like to see a movie around this. Maybe just 2 movies about the 2 different books, or even better, a third book where the villain is either her mother, who divorced her dad and then forced her to live below the poverty line because her dad had to be a gambler, or it could be her roommate, because there was one link, and if you read the book 1, there was one set of coordinates that Zero gave out that was just New York. So that could just, and they're all Black Coat members, so they could just make the Black Coat come up again rapidly once the Neuralink comes back, and that makes something. Maybe you can't destroy the algorithm completely, or else it would destroy Sasuke, or something along those lines. But I feel like that would be like a cool book idea, because the author did a very good job of this book. I'm also surprised that it doesn't have more folders. Why is my fan turning slower? I'm not sure why. This is the end of this video. I will see you in a different video. I got one.